Hi babies. Hi. How are you? I hope this video finds you well. My sweets, my dolls, my sugar plums, my boogers, my pumpkins, my babes. Hi. This is a general message, so take what resonates, leave the rest. Whenever you find it, it is the right time. Because it is timeless. Oh, and please use your own discernment and intuition. I will never reach out to you for personal readings because I'm not doing them. And I would never do that anyway. I wouldn't cold call your ass. My dear, I need to speak to you. There's a dark witch in your energy. Here's my Cash App. My Cash App is in the description of this channel. If you feel so, inclined. I also have PayPal. Wink, wink. It's never expected. But also, if you feel the need to say something rude or whatever in the comments, go for it. I really do not get affected by that. Because I'm going to give the message how it's needed. I'm a channel of the wisdom. That is, I make a prayer to ask for the highest wisdom that is aligned with only pure source, with the Most High. And I pray that message finds the right person at the right time in the most perfect way. So if you are so triggered by whatever message I have, then it's probably not yours, or you're not ready to hear it. I mean, you're welcome to say some nasty shit in the comments, but it's probably just not for you, sweetie pie. Okay? Also, I have some badass goons as my subscribers, and they will put your ass in check. Also, thank you for the people that do that. I appreciate you. Apparently, it needed to be said. We had a little uptick in aggro people in my comments. So, there it is. Okay, let's get into it. So, I came to this cute little nature reserve, and I had to go to the bathroom. I had to poop, I'm not gonna lie. That coffee hit bottom. It is what it is. But anyway, there was a nice little clean area, and I was like, cool. Number 2 real quick. Anyway, I'm leaving, and there's like 2 doors, and I came in one door, and I was like, I wonder if I should go out the other door that I didn't come in, because it like goes around behind the back of the building. And I was like looking out of it before I opened, and for some reason I hesitated, which I usually just go for it. And I opened the door, and a ton of these like those little earwigs. I don't know what it's like, the bug with the long butt, and then it has 2 pincher things at the back of it. Someone can put that in the comments what it's called, but I've just heard them called earwigs. Ugh. Anyway, like a whole mass of them fell as soon as I opened the door. They must have been like perched up on top of the door, and like they fell on my hair, and I was like, oh my god. So needless to say, I did not exit that way. And god, I was like getting it out of my hair. I'm like, oh my god. So that's why I'm sitting in my truck for a little bit to feel safe for a moment. That gave me the heebie-jeebies, because there was a lot of them, and they were like bouncing off of me, because there's so many of them fell. They were just like bing, bing, bing. I was like, oh god. So anyway, what I got from that is, if you have some hesitation and you're like, oh, I don't know, like, as long as you're staying prayed up, you will get the message of where you need to go and what's the right path, what's the right choice. If you're at this fork, or if you're like, do I stay, do I go, what do I do? If you like say you step out, you'll get the message to not go or to go. Like, you'll get some sort of response from the universe, from Most High, of, yeah, this is the right choice, or, oh no, this isn't, like, don't do this. You'll get, like, I was like, oh, should I go out this door? Like, I wouldn't pause if it was right, but for some reason I was like, I like stayed there with my hand on the door, and I was like looking out of it, because it's like glass. It's like, yeah, well, I'll see. I'll open the door, and all those earwigs fell on me. So that was that hesitation, that was the wrong path. I mean, that's super superficial because it's just like this one little choice, but that one little choice, every choice you make is a different timeline. So if you're prayed up and you're asking for the signs and all of that stuff, you'll get the sign. You'll get the no, the go, whichever you're wanting, you'll get it. And as like a little treat, there was like this super cute little spider making its web on my steering wheel when I came in, and I was like, oh, okay, like that was like a relief. Like I wasn't creeped out by that. I was like, okay, cool, a little spider. Good. I like that. Better than those little things like falling all over me. Like one was like in my hair and I felt its little pincher trying to get me and I was like, ah! So you won't be able to fall down the wrong path, essentially. You won't be able to fall. It's like, I'm kind of seeing it as like a parent catching a child right before they just like eat absolute shit. Like like those like miraculous videos or those awesome videos you see online or whatever, where like the dad or the mom just steps in at the most perfect time and grabs that kid up before it's like utter devastation. Like that's what it is. Like you're like, the truck is on the way, you know, this big box truck is on the way, and you step out into the street, something's gonna catch you before that happens. Like as long as you're praying up and you're like asking for the right signs and all of that, you'll get the sign. And usually that hesitation will kind of tell you that now's not the right time. We've got the 8 of Swords as I split the deck. With the 7 of Pentacles here. And that's like, if you feel stuck or whatever, just kind of sit with that and be patient. I think, you know, I've said this before, energy is always changing. And maybe this is just like our little mantra right now that we need to remind as I say myself, ourselves, me too included. Energy always shifts. It always changes. When you're feeling this like agitation, you're stuck, you know, you're pacing your little cage. Every storm runs out of rain. Shouts Gary Allen. Like I'm sitting here watching a weather vane change with the wind. So the wind is always shifting. The nature of reality, or, you know, this plane that we're on, the nature of it is always shifting and changing. So just try to remind yourself in that. Like, I know it's hard because I get caught up in it too. I get so impatient, and I'll even like read the cards and they're like telling like, wait, hold on, it's right there. And I'm like, I can't. I don't know about this, man. So I'm right there with you. And that's that feeling of like something big coming. Like it's that we're feeling that building energy. I still have the creeps from that. The family of earwigs that I disrupted. I tore their house apart, and I was the one that was disgusted, right? How dare I? Oh shit. What the fuck? I don't know if these people were getting attacked by a bird or a hornet, but interesting. I just got to witness that. They're like, no, get out. Oh my god, they're leaving. So a couple just drove up to this nature reserve, and Oh, it must have been the birds. The birds are going wild right now. What the hell is happening? Anyway, this couple just pulled up and then they like started getting like attacked by something. I don't know if it was birds or hornets, but they they were like swatting their heads and running towards the vehicle, and now they just drove off. So we're all getting the same message. Like, if you're not supposed to be there, you're gonna get told you're not supposed to be there. You're gonna get the message it's not the right time. What is happening? It's so weird. Okay, I'm gonna pull a card on this and see what the fuck is up, because this is interesting. Oh. I have no idea what is happening. The birds are going apeshit right now. Anywho. God, sorry. It's all part of the message here, so I'm just keeping an eye on the little critters about. We have the Eight of Cups in reverse with the Six of Pentacles. This is, in a weird way, this is telling me there's like another way. There's another path. Like, you're still supposed to be, it's like a redirection. Let's say you had this dream of something happening, but it like fell through the way you started it, right? But it doesn't mean give up on it. It's just a redirection. And with this Six of Pentacles, that's like somebody helping you out. Throw me a freaking bone here. Somebody like throwing you a bone, helping you out, giving you either like a helpful hint or money, or hey, I got this job, hey, you should meet this person, I think they'd be great for you. Whatever it is, that's what it is. So you on your own weren't supposed to do this. Somebody else is supposed to help you on this path. And we have the Two of Wands, it appears. I'm guessing, at the bottom of the deck. And that's like a plan. That's coming together, making a plan, and then executing it. Okay, the couple is kind of like a... this is good. I'm come from the country, so like I'm used to like weird shit like this happening, but these people are kind of freaking out. They came back, they're like calling the authorities. I don't know what the hell. They just seem a little soft. They don't seem like they're from the country, so maybe they needed some I don't know, I'm kind of getting a redirection, because they weren't made to be here, I guess, whatever it was. That was a very interesting interaction. All right. The disruptions. Oh, okay, divine disruptions. That's what we're doing. If you're not supposed to be there, you're gonna get told you're not supposed to be there. It's a redirection. Okay. Back at it, please. What's up with it? Too minis. We did have the Five of Wands in reverse at the bottom of the deck, so that's telling me it doesn't need to be a fight, and there's like a better way. What is this better way? We want to know what's the better way, damn it. Somebody's gonna help us. So how do we work through this here? Strength card. As you see, this homie's like wrestling this, like, I don't know, it kind of looks like a sturgeon, kind of doesn't. We'll just say you're wrestling this inner sturgeon within you. And that's the 11. So this deck is the inverted way. So this is like a test for you within yourself to fight some other, like, it's this redirection not only is just for the betterment of this plan and getting your manifestations to come forward, it's also so you run into the right people, right things, but also this like quote unquote failure or rejection, or however you want it, delay. It's all pseudo, it's all fake, but that is meant to trigger these weaknesses within you, these shadows within you that need to come out and be wrestled with and finally tamed, because that has been holding you back. Maybe it's this impatience and fear to where you throw your hands up at the wrong time, or that self-sabotaging shit we all do, right? So what's up with that strength? How do we move through this? Four of Cups in reverse. See it for what it is. And that's that is helping you see what has been holding you back, where these fears come from. Let's say and this is usually what it is, it's that hyper control. And this comes from something catastrophic and scary, like startling, a surprise that shakes up your world. And then so you're like, well, your subconscious is like, well, I'm never going to let that happen again. So I'm going to try to control everything. I'm going to plan for everything. I'm going to see all the possible obstacles and try to make a plan for each thing. And so then you end up having, like, you're the puppet master, but you're not allowing any sort of leeway or flow to happen with the universe or certain people to come in or anything like that, which is super annoying because that gives us comfort, right? And depending on how early on this happened for us, this has been our thinking this entire life up until now. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's giving you something to actually wrestle, and because you'll actually see it for what it is now that you're aware of it, and be like, so this is why this delay is happening, because I have this thing that holds me back, this need to control, this anxiety, whatever it is, the fear of something happening, failure, getting hurt, somebody getting hurt, whatever it is, all this stuff. And homie's like, on this card, this person like has a key that's like tied to their hair, and I'm kind of seeing it as like them being trapped in that tower and not realizing that they have the key to get out. So this test of your strength, this inner battle, this inner sturgeon that you have to wrestle and reel in and fish for, it's to bring you this key. Because there's also, I have never noticed this, there's a ship in the background. So they're supposed to get on this ship, and this is like, oh, when are my ships coming in? This is that ship. But little do they know, they had the key the whole entire time. And that key is wrestling the sturgeon and finally getting to this point. And I'm seeing, once again, going back to that, like, fishing for this big ass fish. Fishing for big fish is really hard. It's a battle, it's a fight, and that's why people like get so addicted to it, because they get this, it's like that, they get addicted to that little pull on the fishing line, and then you got to set the hook, and it's like, oh, what's it gonna be? Like, try to see it as that. Like, when you get triggered and these fears come up, this is you fishing in the dark, like, it's, some of my favorite fishing is catfishing at night. Like, you catch some little piddly bluegill, and you cut it up, and you'll catch a big catfish with that, because they like other fish, fish eat other fish. But like, catfish will put up a big one, will put up a big ass fight, and it's super fun. So this is what you're doing essentially. And you're given this time, like let's say you feel stuck, or you got redirected, or this plan fell through, or you're feeling like frustrated, impatient, all this stuff. You're like, I thought it was here, I thought it was this, what the hell, where's it at? This down period is this time for fishing. And what you're fishing for is these inner monsters, these inner river monsters, these things that flow through you and stay hidden in the dark, in the deepest depths of yourself, that need to be fished for. And this downtime, these rejections, quote unquote, these redirections, all of that, or you see it as a failure or a delay or whatever, that is the bait for this monster, for this inner thing, this inner river monster that needs to come out and be wrangled. Get it, homie. Fuck yeah. Good for you. I respect people that like to run. I used to like to trail run, but I don't know. It's just not for me anymore. I'd rather lift weights. All right. Oops. Out. Oh, there we go. Hi there again. All right. So that inner sturgeon. How do we find this? What do we do with this uncomfortable feeling, huh? Help us out here. Bro. The devil pops out. God damn it. This is literally showing your inner demons. This is showing where you're stuck, where you're held down, where you're tied down. And demons can only affect you with fear, right? That's the only thing, is like fear. And if you're fearless, you can't be affected by this demon. You can't be held down. So this is all just these damn fears that you have to catch, these river monsters, these demons, the unseen that is floating below the surface. Ugh. Can I get another card? Because yes, I get that. What do we need? How do we work with this in this time? How can we find our strength in this? Interesting. Bitch, you cannot make this up. Okay, so we have the Empress that fell in reverse, yes? And the Lovers that fell in reverse. And at the bottom of the deck, the Emperor in reverse. Oh my god, bitch! The Tower! Okay, so it's these shadow, dark parts of ourselves. And I'm seeing it as like our feminine and masculine within ourselves, and then the other that we seek outside of ourselves with that Lover's card in reverse. And this is why we have these like tainted, imbalanced connections. Man. Interesting. And this is all... Okay. So, man, this is so frustrating because it's like the only way out is through. And the only way to get through this is to see it with a different perspective. This is undoing any sort of toxicity from, whether that was from our mother, and same thing from our father wounds or whatever. And that could be father figures, mother figures, whatever, that tainted us and how we see connection and how we love others and how we make decisions. Because that Lover's card is also the decision card, being torn between two things. Like, it's interesting how it kind of came full circle with that, where I was torn between these two doors and I'm like, which one should I take? Oh shit, there's fucking earwigs falling everywhere. I was affected and the earwigs were affected. And this whole, searching for these river monsters, fishing for these river monsters, and being in this downtime is tearing down any sort of toxic relationship we have with ourselves, our feminine, our masculine, and how we operate out of those. I'm getting entitlement and anger. So and also this, I don't know why, but I was drawn to this the welder in me. I'm looking at this like propane tank or some sort of gas cylinder vessel, and it's just like, I was like, oh, I wonder who built that and like who pressure tested it and all of that. Like, what the fuck? So with that, that's these distractions of like when things start getting real and start getting tough, and we're almost at this point of like, let's say you're fishing in the dark, right? You and me go fishing in the dark. Let's say we're fishing in the dark, right? And you have your little reel out there, you have the bait casted and all of that, and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, and you're starting to get impatient, you ran out of beer, all of this stuff. You're at that point, you're like, okay, well, nothing's gonna happen. And literally, if you would have kept at that point when you're in that impatience and frustration, and if you would have just sat just a little bit longer before reeling it in, you would have caught the fish. But your attention is pulled away because you're right at that moment in this discomfort and in this impatience that you're about to catch the monster, the river monster. So, and I'm like hearing like that impatience, that it's like an immaturity that we've been taught of, like not waiting, not wanting to feel that discomfort. And the only way to get through and catch that river monster, catch that thing that holds us back, is to finally just sit there in this discomfort of like, is this fish gonna catch my, or is this fish gonna bite the hook, or what is this? It's so crazy to me that these like, I've never been in one of these electric vehicles, and it like freaks me out because like you don't hear it start or anything, and then it makes a noise for when it's backing up. So I'm just like, what is this? So it's like this immature part of ourselves, that it's this discomfort, that toxic, I don't want to say toxic, but this the shadow side, the dark side of feminine, the dark side of the masculine, the unhealed part, I should say, the unhealed part, the wounded part, that causes this. And it's even with this lovers in reverse. This is our relationship with ourselves, not giving ourselves that patience. And that's what that devil is giving in, because the devil is also about addictions, giving into vices. And the vice and that addiction is to giving into that impatience or that discomfort and not waiting for the fish to bite. Oh, like, I'm out of beer. It's getting dark. I'm tired. And it's like forgetting like why you're here. Bro, weren't you here to catch a fish? Weren't you here to enjoy this? Part of it is seeking this discomfort and because the only way that you can get to this manifestation or this thing that you've desired so greatly is to sit in the dark, because you wanted to catch the fish. You wanted to feel that, like, what do they call it? I don't know. You fishermen can say in the comments of like, it's like that, the jerk, like, I don't know, it's like they call it something like the addiction to that jerk of like when the fish bites. You look forward to that. You want that bite of life, but that impatience holds you back, and then you don't end up getting like the, let's say if you catch the biggest fish, you win a prize from this lake, but you got impatient and you didn't want to sit there in this like discomfort of the boredom or whatever it is. So you throw your hands up too soon. You reel it in too soon. So in order to tear this down, we have to sit with that discomfort. And that's what, like, literally you were given the time, the downtime to go fishing for this. The King of Wands fell out. And that's a leader that wants to be a tyrant. They want control. They're insecure. If anybody questions them, they get all insecure, and then they put like an even tighter rope or rein on their people, or whatever it is. And that's kind of going back to like wanting that control, wanting to feel safe, planning ahead. It's making me think of Aries parents. Like if you're a parent and you're an Aries, like those parents are usually like super cool. They're just a big kid. And they're like usually down to do all the kid stuff. I know a lot of like fire parents are, down like that. I'm not saying you aren't if you're not a fire sign, but I've just witnessed that with my own eyes. Like I had a Leo dad and he was always down to like do kid stuff and be wild and, get in trouble kind of thing. Within reason, obviously. And same with like my Gramps is an Aries and he's still down to do kid shit. Like he's cool like that. And with this coming up is making me think of that, not wanting to feed your inner child, not wanting to feed this part of yourself that's wounded, and finally release whatever you've been gripping onto so hard. And I'm really getting, it's like something has caught you off guard, like the rug was pulled from under your feet, you fell, you stumbled, and you don't want that to happen again. So everything around you is like, oh, I got to keep track of this, I got to do this, I got to do that. It's helped you be a good, like, keep track of things, and like it's helped you be good at that. Like you're really good at that. But it also inhibits the flow of energy, the flow of life, where good things happen. It stops that because you're in such control that you don't allow, like, it's like you don't want to hear what other people have to say, what is best for you. My throat's getting all weird. It's like you don't want to hear others out, or maybe hear that the thing you're greatest at, is a double-edged sword. Like it's your biggest strength and biggest weakness. And there's that, once again, we're back into that duality. We have the Empress, the Lovers, and the Emperor, all in reverse. You're not allowing the polarity of things to exist. Like, to an extent, obviously you're allowing the sun to, you can't stop the sun from rising and the moon, the night coming. Like you literally can't. If you may have tried to stop that, but you can't. You're not that powerful just yet. But it's like, your strength, you're powerful, and you've gotten to witness it at, like, having all of this control and stuff like that. So you've gotten the benefit of it, but it's also your biggest weakness at the same time, because it's stopping these huge things you desire, or you feel that something's like, it's almost like you don't allow pleasure into your life to the extent that it could be, because you have this great control over it. And honestly, if this resonates with you, then yes, keep with it. If it doesn't, and this is triggering, click off. You don't have to yell at me in the comments. Or do, whatever. Everything has a cause and a reaction. Oh my god, I can't even talk right now. I was distracted by a little bunny hopping. Everything must be in balance. So if you say something nasty in the comments, then that's going to come back to you. Every choice you do. The other day, I was very much aggravated. There was this very entitled person while I was driving. Thought they were big, bad, and tough, sitting inside their vehicle. And I let my temper get the best of me. I didn't say anything, but I was making some gestures of like, let's get out then. Let's get there. I fell prey to the damn road rage. I fell prey to somebody's road rage so bad because I was like, oh no, you want to talk? You want to? Okay, then let's go. I didn't say anything, but I let myself fall into that trap of, because I've had so much like this buildup of energy, and then, you know, I'm sitting in this with you, this trying to catch these demons, trying to catch these river monsters, that I let that like anger come out in a way that, because I haven't been channeling it into the way that I need to. Like, I haven't been able to make it to the gym and push as hard as I need to because other things have come up. And so I let myself fall prey to this. So we're all in it together, all right? However, thankfully nothing transpired of it, because that action, if I would have let it go to that and let the inner redneck come out in me, that part of my redneck come out in me, then that would have led to a different timeline where I had to deal with those, the repercussions of my actions. So I'm grateful and nothing transpired, but whew, I was close too. Interesting. Judgment in reverse. Wow. So when I first split the deck, we had the Eight of Swords upright. Okay. Oh, man, why have these messages been so brutal lately? Oh. the cards are like, well, I don't want you to miss an opportunity. That's why. Judgment in reverse. Eight of Swords upright. This lack of self-awareness, this lack of, and I'm not saying you lack all of it, but there's this point where it's like, there's this song called End of Me by Shaman's Harvest. I want to say that's the song. And it says people, they get off right before the gates of hell. Like, people, and it's implying that people couldn't stick around when things got tough. Oh, so this is where, okay, so with this, my voice getting all funky, this is what we're really touching on, some stuff that you may not want to hear, but when you don't want to look at these darker parts of yourself and take account of, oh man, this is pissing somebody off. This lack of self-awareness, like you're aware in other places, but this one part you don't want to touch, that is what's keeping you stuck. That is what is keeping you imprisoned, of not wanting to look at, it's like not sticking through for yourself, not hanging out when things get hard for yourself. And that's coming back to that impatience of not wanting to see it through and catch that fish, because there's this discomfort, this boredom, this, oh, why am I why is nothing moving for me? That's what that is you. And I hate like saying this because it's such a triggering way to say it, like you're accountable for this. Like, I mean, if you've clicked off at this point, then if you haven't, then you're willing to hear this, and I appreciate it. And this is what's going to free you from this prison, this stagnant energy, is in these moments of discomfort, impatience, nothing's moving ahead. you have a choice to, like I said, I got distracted by that gas cylinder over there, or that vessel over there, you know what, it looks like a propane tank, we'll say that. You have a choice to either get distracted and let this discomfort not come to the head that it needs to where you can finally find this river monster and finally tear it down with that tower. It will be a tower moment. It will be catastrophic. It will be, you know, it's like, there's this book I'm reading and it talks about like this mirror that they look into, and if you look into the mirror it'll drive you mad or insane because it shows you like everything. And if you're not ready to see that and feel that and experience, look into the fire of yourself and see where your shadow is, where your wounds have come from, and your darkness, and these things that need, this is shadow work. This is seeing the ugly, yucky stuff within you, like that freaking earwig falling on me. That's part of me, is that those yucky, creepy crawly things. It's not comfortable. And when you let yourself get distracted right in these discomfort moments, right on when you're at the precipice, that moment, the crescendo of when you can finally hear it, see it, feel it, of what is holding you back, what this monster is. And there's a jet right there. So you have the... I'm getting is like, if you just sit in that discomfort, you finally get past that point. If you catch yourself getting distracted, like I said, I wanted to look at that welder in me, wanted to look at the welds over on that propane tank and think about that, instead of getting to the point, getting to the real nitty gritty part of it all. Letting these things, these distractions, keep me from getting to the point of, this is some real shit. And I'm taking that jet that I just saw flying in the sky as two things. As soon as you sit there and your willingness to sit in the discomfort, for one, you're going to find that it's not really that bad. But that feeling moving up to that point is uncomfortable. And as soon as you sit with that and you face this thing, you open the door to the haunted house, only to find it's just like, oh, it's just kind of dirty in here. I just got to turn some lights on and do a little vacuuming. It's fine. But it seems like such a big thing because it's not been faced yet. However, you need to remind yourself that you are older, stronger, better than you were when this thing was placed within you. This fear was placed within you. This shadow was created. This monster was created. You're much stronger now. It's like I'm getting the vision of like, fuck off, fly, get out of here. When you're a kid and you like, I don't know, you get on the carousel or whatever it is, and it looks so giant and big, and then you come back as an adult to this same thing and you're like, oh, I thought it was bigger and more vibrant. Wow. What happened? It's like that. You're at a point that you're ready to meet this, and as soon as you open the door, you're going to realize it's just the shadow, the dark, the unknown is what made it scary. And it's really not that scary. It's going to hurt because it's touching a wound that, honestly, it's like you have a splinter in your foot or your hand or whatever, and it hurts like a motherfucker. But you have to use a needle or this blade to get it out, and you do have to cut yourself a little bit to get the sliver out, the splinter out. So in order for it to heal, it's like this thing already hurts, so you don't want to touch it, but the only way to do it is to cut it out. And there's a way to do it, to, you know, if you have like good like tactile movements with your, like, you can control your hands, like then you can just easily, like, you know, flick this little sliver out and it's wham bam done. Or if you're just all, you have like this butter knife to try to get it out, it's gonna hurt more. So there's a way. You're at this point, you're at this skill level, at this strength, that you could handle this and you can finally pull the sliver out and heal this part. I hope this is making sense. Like, all of these ideas and things are like kind of coming at me because it's such a touchy subject. But as soon as you're willing to open the door and look at whatever scary thing is behind it, or, you know, turn the light on, whatever it is, however you want to see it, or, you know, wait for this fish to bite the line, that's when you're going to be able to get on this jet plane and finally just fly over this bullshit and finally lay this to rest. And that's what this whole Eight of Swords card is about, is like your mind trapping you. She's really not trapped. She's just letting her mind think that. There's another way out. And since she's got a moon face and the moon is like pulling on her, I'm seeing that as like when the full moon like makes everybody super emotional and brings up a lot of stuff, like old emotions, old wounds, whatever. Things are ramped up. And it's almost like these emotions make it harder or scarier. But really, if your willingness to just finally face this thing, sit in the discomfort and be like, bring it on, bitch. No, I came here for a reason. I'm gonna see if this fish will bite. And finally just do the damn thing. This is where it's like, that is true freedom. You finally are freed from this. And this willingness to look at this without judgment. Because we have that judgment card in reverse. Without judgment. Yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, this happened. Ooh, I'm that way. And this is where it puts you into this Heropant here. That's going to put you into this mastery, into this, you're going to level up. You're going to be the teacher. Yeah, I really like that. Because then, however, I don't know, for some reason I'm being called to like call out like the different parts of this. There's like structure to the Hierophant. There's like, there's a reason why things have to be done this way. Let's say, I'm trying to think of like something that has to be done like a specific way. Like there has to be certain steps that you can only take something apart in certain ways. Like in order, like an engine or something of the sort, like you have to take it apart. There's only a few ways you can take it apart. You can only work on it in a certain list of ways. Because that's it. Like there's just, okay, so let's say you get a code on your vehicle and it, I don't know, like it's some sort of evap, I don't know, emissions bullshit. And you type it in online, or, you know, you're a mechanic and mechanics go to their thing of like, what this code could mean. There's only a few things of what this thing could mean. And I'm seeing it like that. That's what the Hierophant is like, you might have been avoiding this because there's some sort of rebellion within you. It's like, there has to be a different way. There has to be a different way. I don't want to do it this way. But the only way out is through. And, you know, like your check engine light is on and the code is reading what it is. And it's going to be these 5 things that could be wrong with it. And unfortunately, it's like, it's like you're looking for it. Oh, there's got to be a different way. There's got to be a different way. But the only way out is through. The only way out is by looking at these yucky, awful things. Turning that judgment upon ourselves. Looking within for ourselves. And that's looking at the creepy, crawly earwig things within us. Facing these scary things that happen to us. But I'm getting, it's like, you're finally ready. We have the Chariot card in reverse. One more on that. You're finally ready to do this. King of Pentacles. Yeah, there's this stubbornness of like, oh, it needs to be, there's got to be a way. Or maybe you've heard from people like the only way out is through. You have to look at yourself. You're held accountable. Like, you are the only one that can hold yourself accountable. Or, sorry, you are the only one that can make yourself happy. And you are the only one that can make yourself unhappy too. So, and like I said, it's that duality, the two sides of the sword. And with this Chariot card in reverse and the King of Pentacles in reverse, it's like this stubbornness of like, no, it's something else. I don't want to look at that. There's something, this person right here, like me, getting into that road rage incident, instead of realizing I was just at my limit and frustrated and looking for something to blame, and I want to punch something. Like, I was in that energy. I'm not even gonna lie. I was wanting to blame that person for pissing me off. But really, I'm the one that put myself there because I was letting all of this pressure weigh on me and not finding a way to release it and find the deeper meaning, the deeper root of the issue, which is way further away than I could even fathom. But I'm wanting to point the finger at what this thing in front of me is. The 3D thing is this fucking bitch right here is trying to talk shit and think she's all tough in her car. And I'm like, I want to punch this thing. I'm like, don't say it, be about it, bitch. But I was looking for this material thing to point fingers at. Oh, and the sun popping up. Right on the money. That spirit being like, yep, you're onto something here, girly. And the star, big dog. Look at that. We got the star and the sun. Until you... It's almost like you have to have something so frustrating or agitating to get you to this point to where you're like, you want to distract yourself and you want to point the finger. You want to get to that point of like falling back into this immature, ignorant state. You know, you want to go back to the Neanderthal of like, me want to punch something. Like, you have to get to that point in order to find this thing. And choosing to not do that and not like blame the thing in front of you and finding that deeper root thing. And I hate being that way because it sounds so vague and like this thing, this ambiguous thing, but it's going to be different for everybody. For me, you know, just so you can kind of have some sort of understanding. For me, I have this high standard of myself because, for one, I was never good enough from my mom. Nothing I ever did was good enough. And it's because she had her own wounding and was putting that upon me. So she always wanted me chasing and proving, so I thought. But really, she didn't think she was good enough. And, you know, I allow, you know, I'm a fucking kid, for one. This happened. It just happened that way. The wound happened. I signed up to be in this flesh vessel, and with these people, these parents, and all of these other things, I agreed to these wounds. And this is how I undo it, is by not allowing this low self-worth and feeling like I have to be perfect, I have to be the best driver, I have to be diligent, I have to be this, I have to be that. And I have to be accountable for everybody else around me, because that was placed on me as a kid. I was blamed for shit that like I was completely out of control of. So I found a way to, you know, because I wanted to chase for this approval from my mother and all of this. So I found a way of like, okay, well, if I'm really diligent and I keep a hold on everybody and I make sure everybody's good, I make sure they're good, I'm acting perfect, they're acting perfect, I call them out, whatever it is, then, you know, this is how I'll get this approval or whatever. And that's where this agitation and my impatience and this hypervigilance comes from. And that's why I wanted to fight this bitch on the interstate. You know what I mean? It wasn't the interstate, but in the road, on this highway anyway. And I wanted to point the finger at her instead of realizing it was something far deeper. So how do we find this thing and move past it and finally free ourselves, huh? Seven of Wands. One more. Temperance in reverse. You have to let the tempest come. You have to let the storm come. You have to let this, the only way, God damn it, I hate this. I keep getting the only way out is through. You have to let the storm come. You have to let this defensiveness rise up. I'm also looking at like self-care. Let's say you go do this self-care thing for once and you never do. You never allow yourself pleasure or whatever it is because you always feel guilty. When that guilt arises, say I don't know, I'm just looking at this card and she has like her toes painted. You want to go get your toes done. You want to go buy a nice watch for yourself. I don't fucking know. I don't know. You want to go buy a motorcycle. I support that. I'm Melanie and I approve that message. But you feel this guilt after you do these things. In that guilt, that is where you're going to have to sit with that. And that's where you're going to have to let this tempest come up, this storm come up, this discomfort, the imbalance that comes up from doing this thing. And that's where you're going to find it. Following this uncomfortable feeling and let it just come out. And I'm getting with this Seven of Wands is like protecting yourself in this moment. You're going to have to let these feelings come out. It's almost like you have to juice that feeling so you don't distract yourself. You don't get on your phone. You don't look away. You don't get on the TV or whatever. You got to feel this thing and protect yourself in this raw, vulnerable moment to finally release it. Just like, and this might be something you need to hear is, yes, like your mother, like say for me, my mom, never told me she was proud of me. I was never, like I would literally do stuff and she'd be like, that's not good enough. Or, if I would apologize or whatever, it was never good enough. It was just this intense feeling. It would just be this big blow. That's not good enough. Or, I would draw her something and she didn't like it. She didn't say she liked it. All of this. I was always seeking this approval. And so then I would start getting in trouble or something to try. This was all subconscious to try to get her attention or whatever. You can only blame your parent or that thing happening to you for so long. At this point, you're an adult and you have the authority over yourself. You have the ability to protect yourself and heal that part of that helpless child within you. You can't blame them forever because now you're accountable for those feelings. And just as like, I'm not saying I'm over it. Obviously, like that shit still comes out. Like I was down to throw down on the highway with some bitch because that stuff comes out. You can only blame them for so long. And this is where you have to defend and protect that part of yourself that didn't get that as a kid. And that's the only way out is through. And I keep getting this because it's like there's something in you that King of Pentacles is really pointing out to me. It's like there's got to be a different way. It's something in front of me. I'm surrounded by this. This is it. It's the people around me. It's this, it's that. Yeah, the people around you are triggering you so you could finally heal this. And if you keep running away from it, it's going to keep chasing you. Like, let's say you're feeling stuck at this job and you're like, man, I know this, I'm manifesting a new job. This is toxic for me. Yes, it is, but it's only going to continue. Like, you could get your dream job, and then that energy of these toxic ass people, until you heal this part of yourself of like the self-worth, the confidence, knowing you are good enough at your job, whatever it is, that energy is going to keep chasing you until you finally heal this. So then it's like your manifestation, your dream job is tainted because that energy is still there. And you won't get to this, like, you can push for it as much as you want, but it will be tainted until you can finally heal this part of yourself, find that confidence, and not seek the validation or whichever, you know, whatever you're chasing here. Damn, that Seven of Pentacles is trying to come out again. Yeah. The Death card. Yeah, that part needs to fall off. Because whatever success you want, you're desiring, you're wanting, manifesting, whatever you're dreaming of, that's always going to be tainted. And there's always going to be this chasing or feeling you're not good enough, or, you know, burning yourself out to fill this wound, this hollowness, this part of yourself that hasn't yet been healed, hasn't yet been loved on or acknowledged. Maybe you just need to let that feeling finally come up. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, we got a dually up in here. Yeah. Anyway, you finally got to let that feeling come up and feel like the helpless little shit that you were, the helpless little child that you were, and just finally feel through that, cry it out, let it go. And with that feeling of like, it's a scary thing, as you know, it's like this big thing as a kid, but you come back as an adult and it's not as bad. I'm getting, it's like as soon as you allow that feeling to finally come through and you don't reel it in before you catch the fish, you're gonna realize like, oh, it was just that. Like, yeah, you're gonna feel this tempest come up and it's gonna be big emotions and all of this stuff flowing through you and out of you. It's not gonna be as hard as you think though. Like it's almost like the anticipation is far worse than the actual thing. I'm honestly getting, you might just have to ugly cry for like 20 minutes and you're good. Like, as soon as you, like, because you're at this point, you're at this level, you've undone a lot of stuff up until this point. But it's like this little kid within you still has that, like, oh, this fear, this scariness, and it keeps you away from that. But that's what that, like, say this thing happened to you when you were 7. Your fear level and little kid thinking is what's keeping you away from feeling that feeling. So that part of yourself, that part of your mind is still 7 years old, thinking like, oh, I don't want to go look under the bed because there's a monster under there. That's why it's feeling like this. But you're old enough now that you can look under the bed and be like, oh, fuck you up, bitch, come on. Like, you know your strength now, you know you're bigger now, you're stronger now, you're more skilled now. Like, you're at that bigger, you're bigger, badder, you're a big bad adult now. Seven of Swords. Yeah, yo, like, this shit's like hidden. It's just an illusion. It can be done. You're an adult now. Like, you can figure out the tricks. It's almost like when you watch magic, like as a little kid, and like you're like, oh, that's so cool. Like a magician, like you go to a show and see them do magic shit, right? But as an adult, like, you know that you could do that too. Oh, you know, if you chose to do so. But as a little kid, you're like, oh, I can never. What? Or I'm too small to do that, or, you know, you have all these limitations or whatever it is, you know, because of people telling you this or whatever. But now you're a big bad adult and you can finally, look, the Hangman in reverse. It's about time you get on your feet and face this thing. Like, the time, there's like a little clock right there, a little pocket watch. it's the time is up, and the time is now. It's like an alarm's going off. It's enough sitting around avoiding this, you know, oh, well, what if I just don't do this or whatever. We have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. What if it's time to quit juggling this and like throwing it up in the air because you're afraid it's going to get hot in your hands, like that type of thing, like ha 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 ha. There's like tools, and like you're a grown-ass adult, like you're a big person now, and it's time that you recognize like how powerful and amazing and skilled you are, and you can face this thing. I'm literally getting, it might just be a moment that you let yourself ugly cry and feel those emotions that are trapped within you, and you can finally like just let it flow through you, and you'll feel better. It's gonna take work to like not fall back into those old habits of like the hypervigilance and stressing out over shit that doesn't matter, that type of thing. It's gonna be a thing, but I'm getting, it's like this big ugly cry of like letting that feeling flow through you. I saw 555 on the timer as I said that, and that's where the change is gonna come, because 555 is that big changes, big disruptions. That's that tower moment. Change, let's shake it up, baby. And that big emotional burst or flow of finally letting that thing come to the surface and just letting it flow through you, that's the beginning. Like that's where you soar through on your little jet plane, instead of having to drive all slow in a beater, you know, across the country. You can just fly over to your destination. It's going to catapult you. It's going to speed the process up closer to your manifestation. Like, yeah, I'm not saying it's just gonna come like super second nature to like undo these habits you've created to like keep yourself safe from this feeling of like invulnerability, low self-worth, that type of thing. It's going to take diligence to stick with that, but this big emotional flow of it is gonna need to happen. And that's like catching that big sturgeon, you know, finally like just letting it sit there in this like uncertainty in the dark. Your line has been sitting out there for a while. You're like, damn, is this fish gonna bite or what? It will, but you have to sit in that uncertainty. That it's like I said, the anticipation of the thing is worse than the actual thing. Anything else before I close it, huh? That's advice for us. Oh. 5 of Wands. Don't fight it. Don't fight it this time. Don't allow yourself to get distracted. Or even like set time aside for this thing. Take some time off, whatever you need to do to just finally feel this thing. Like, don't fight it. Don't keep fighting this off, because that's just you fighting off your own success and all these badass manifestations that you're trying to bring forward, and this magic that can happen in your life. Quit fighting this thing. And that's interesting how that popped in when I split the deck before. Anything else? Don't fight it. 10 of Swords in reverse. So that's so interesting, because that's like getting the sliver out. That's like pulling the knife out. That's like pulling something. It's like, say you get shot with an arrow, that shit has to come out for you to heal. You can't just leave it in. Yes, it will hurt to pull it out, but only for that moment, so you can finally heal. You got to pull these swords out to heal, because there's going to be a whole other issue if you just leave that sword in and try to let that thing heal around it. And we have the Hermit there. So there need to be like meditation, looking within, finding alone time. You know, maybe these things get triggered by people, but allow them to trigger you and then go like be vulnerable. Like maybe that's what it is. Like you're always around people, or there's something blocking you, like say you go to work or whatever, and this thing needs to happen while you're away, because like you hold back because you're like, I don't want this person to see me cry or see that I have a weakness or whatever it is. So there needs to be it's just like looking within and just like allowing that shadow to come through and that darkness to come through, and finally seeing that you're a big bad adult and you can handle this. You have the strength to face this. Anything else? Bitch. The Hermit was at the bottom of the deck, and guess what flipped? The Hermit. It's like, I said what I said. Looking within, shining a light into the dark parts of within yourself. We have the Two of Cups in reverse and the Ace of Wands in reverse. You're in this like slow period time, or you had these bad relationships, connections, all of this stuff, in order to have this stir up. You're in this time where things aren't moving ahead with that Ace of Wands in reverse, because it won't, you're in this stagnancy because you're putting yourself there. You're blocking this own blessing by not healing this part of yourself. And this connection or whatever it is, this all happened to stir up and finally heal this. Know that you're a big bad adult. You're big now and you're strong and you can face this. And maybe you weren't giving yourself the credit. I saw all ones on the timer there. This is a new beginning. So as soon as your willingness to look at like what happened to you in the past, it was all to like get rid of this deeper issue that came from way longer ago. The relationship itself, connection, whatever happened, it was hurtful, and it, you know, it had its own wound, but it was to trigger that deeper wound within, and finally just let it out and heal and move on so you can have this new beginning. And I'm getting, so like, you don't have to reincarnate if you don't want to. Like, you can go be a spirit guide, or you can go be on the other side and help others through this. You can be an ascended master. And this is the path you take. I mean, if you have your own free will, and if you don't want to heal this, then don't. And then you'll reincarnate in the same thing again and again until you choose to finally look at this and heal this. But with that star, I'm going to end it there. This is how you're going to become the ascended master, and you're going to have the choice to reincarnate or not. All right, babies, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this hard work. I love you all so, so, so much. Thank you for all your donations, your wonderful comments, for riding with me. I love it. Bye, babes.